Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to 90 Day Fiancé latest news updates. When 90 Day Fiancé, before the 90 days first introduced Sheena, viewers immediately sensed that her story was going to be different. There was mystery in the way she spoke about her family, hesitation when questions turned personal, and an emotional guardedness that made fans curious from the very beginning. For weeks, audiences speculated about the people who raised her, wondering why her parents were never mentioned on screen and what role they truly played in her life. That curiosity finally exploded into full-blown shock when the show at last introduced Sheena's parents, and the reaction from fans was nothing short of stunned disbelief. The reveal didn't come quietly or casually. Instead, it unfolded with a level of emotional intensity that few expected, changing the tone of Sheena's storyline almost instantly. From the moment her parents appeared, it became clear that this wasn't just another routine family introduction common to the franchise. There was history here. There was tension. And most importantly, there were unanswered questions that suddenly demanded attention. For Forrest, the reaction was immediate and visible. His expression said what many fans were thinking. This was not what he expected. Throughout his relationship with Sheena, he had built an image of her background based on fragments of stories, half-truths, and emotional cues. Meeting her parents shattered that image in ways that were impossible to ignore. His shock mirrored the audience's, creating one of the most talked-about moments of the season. Sheena's parents did not fit neatly into the typical 90-day fiancé mold. Instead of warm smiles and easy acceptance, there was an air of formality, emotional distance, and unresolved conflict. Their body language alone told a story of its own. Conversations felt carefully measured, words chosen with caution rather than affection. Fans immediately noticed the lack of overt warmth, sparking debates across social media about what might have happened behind closed doors long before cameras arrived. As the episode unfolded, it became evident that Sheena's upbringing may have played a significant role in shaping her emotional boundaries. Her parents appeared reserved, even skeptical, especially when it came to her relationship with Forrest. Questions were direct. Concerns were blunt. There was no attempt to soften opinions for the sake of television. This raw honesty was refreshing to some viewers, but deeply unsettling to others. Forrest, who had traveled across borders and invested emotionally in Sheena, suddenly found himself facing not just parental scrutiny, but an entire family dynamic he was unprepared for. His discomfort was palpable. He tried to remain respectful, but the weight of the moment clearly affected him. Fans praised his composure while simultaneously questioning whether this revelation would permanently alter his view of Sheena and their future together. Online reactions poured in almost instantly. Many viewers admitted they were shocked not just by Sheena's parents themselves, but by how much their presence explained about her behavior throughout the season. Her reluctance to open up, her emotional self-protection, and even her communication style suddenly made more sense. Fans began rewatching earlier episodes with new perspective, picking up on subtle clues they had previously overlooked. Others, however, felt unsettled. Some questioned whether Sheena had intentionally withheld the truth about her family, while others defended her right to privacy, especially if her relationship with her parents was complicated or painful. The reveal reignited a familiar 90-day fiancé debate. How much of one's past must be shared in the name of love, and where should personal boundaries be respected? What made this moment especially powerful was how unscripted it felt. There were no dramatic music cues forcing emotion, no exaggerated reactions for the sake of ratings. Instead, the tension felt real, uncomfortable, and deeply human. This authenticity is what has long kept fans invested in the franchise, and Sheena's storyline delivered it in full force. As Forrest processed what he was seeing, viewers could sense a shift in his confidence. The easy optimism he once carried was replaced with caution. He began asking himself questions that many fans echoed online. Can love survive such deeply rooted family dynamics? Is emotional distance something that can be healed, or does it become a permanent barrier? Sheena, for her part, appeared conflicted. Introducing her parents seemed to reopen emotional wounds she had carefully guarded. Her expressions reflected a mix of fear, obligation, and vulnerability. Fans empathized with her struggle, recognizing the courage it takes to expose such a personal part of one's life on a global platform. The episode ended without clear resolution, leaving viewers desperate for answers. Would Forrest be able to accept Sheena's family as they are? Would her parents ever soften their stance? And most importantly, would this reveal bring Sheena and Forrest closer, or push them irreversibly apart? In the days following the episode, social media remained ablaze with theories, opinions, and emotional reactions. Some fans praised the show for finally providing context to Sheena's character, calling it one of the most impactful reveals in recent seasons. Others worried that the damage may already be done, predicting that this moment could mark the beginning of the end for the couple. What is undeniable is that the introduction of Sheena's parents changed everything. It transformed her storyline from a simple international romance into a layered exploration of family, emotional history, and the lasting impact of upbringing on adult relationships. It reminded viewers that love does not exist in a vacuum. It is shaped by the people, experiences, and environments that come before it. As Before the 90 Days continues, fans are watching more closely than ever. Every interaction, every conversation, every emotional reaction now carries deeper meaning. Sheena's parents may have only appeared briefly, but their presence left a lasting imprint on the season, and on viewers who will not soon forget the shock of that moment. One thing is certain, this reveal will be remembered as one of the most defining scenes of Sheena's journey, proving once again why 90 Day Fiancé continues to captivate audiences worldwide, pushing them toward deeper understanding, patience, and emotional growth. Others believe this revelation may be the beginning of an unavoidable drift, one that neither love nor effort can fully prevent. What's undeniable is that Sheena's parents have become a silent but powerful presence in the story, even when they're not on screen. Their influence lingers in every interaction between Sheena and Forrest. Viewers can sense it in the pauses before Sheena answers difficult questions, in the way Forrest chooses his words more carefully, and in the subtle tension that now underlies even their lighter moments. As the episodes move forward, Forrest appears increasingly aware that loving Sheena also means accepting parts of her life that may never change. Family dynamics, especially ones built over decades, rarely transform overnight. This realization seems to weigh heavily on him. Fans have pointed out that his optimism has evolved into something more cautious, less naive, but perhaps more realistic. Sheena, on the other hand, seems caught between two worlds. On one side is her desire for love, independence, and a future with Forrest. On the other is the emotional gravity of her upbringing, one that shaped her long before she ever imagined appearing on a reality show. Her struggle is subtle but constant, visible in moments of silence more than in words. Many viewers have praised the show for not forcing artificial drama into this storyline. Instead of explosive confrontations, the tension unfolds slowly, mirroring how real-life emotional conflicts often play out. This approach has resonated deeply with longtime fans, who describe the storyline as one of the most mature and emotionally grounded arcs in recent seasons. Online discussions have also shifted from shock to analysis. Fans are no longer just reacting, they're dissecting. They're questioning how emotional distance affects adult relationships, how family expectations shape romantic choices, and how much responsibility partners should bear for wounds they didn't create. In this way, Sheena's story has sparked conversations that extend far beyond the show itself. Some viewers have even noted that Sheena's parents, while emotionally reserved, may not be intentionally cruel. Their demeanor could reflect cultural norms, generational differences, or their own unresolved experiences. This perspective has softened opinions for some fans, adding nuance to what initially felt like a cold introduction. Forrest's response to all of this remains a focal point. His willingness to listen, observe, and reflect rather than react impulsively has earned him respect from much of the audience. At the same time, viewers remain protective of him, expressing concern that prolonged emotional strain could take its toll. As anticipation builds, fans are eager to see whether future episodes will address these unresolved tensions directly or allow them to simmer beneath the surface. Will Sheena open up more about her past? Will Forrest voice his concerns openly? Or will both continue navigating this complex emotional terrain in silence? What began as a simple reveal has now evolved into one of the season's most layered narratives. The introduction of Sheena's parents didn't just shock fans, it reframed the entire story. It challenged assumptions, deepened character arcs, and reminded viewers that love is rarely uncomplicated. In the end, this moment may be remembered not for dramatic confrontation, but for its honesty. It showed that sometimes the most powerful twists aren't loud or explosive, they're quiet, uncomfortable, and deeply real. And for fans of Before the 90 Days, that authenticity is exactly what keeps them watching. As the story continues to unfold, the emotional weight of that moment doesn't fade, it deepens. Every new scene between Sheena and Forrest now carries the memory of that first meeting with her parents. Even when they laugh or share quiet moments, there's an underlying awareness that something fundamental has shifted. Forrest begins to realize that understanding Sheena means listening not only to what she says, but also to what she avoids saying. Her silences speak volumes. Fans have noticed how he pauses more often before responding, as if carefully weighing each word. This subtle change has made viewers more invested in his emotional journey, seeing him not just as a romantic lead, but as a man genuinely trying to navigate complexity with empathy. Sheena's emotional restraint becomes a recurring theme. Rather than opening up immediately, she seems to protect herself by keeping certain feelings guarded. To some viewers, this once felt frustrating. Now, it feels understandable. The introduction of her parents provided context that transformed frustration into compassion. Audiences are beginning to see her not as distant, but as someone who learned early on that vulnerability can be risky. This shift in perception has sparked a new wave of fan support. Online comments increasingly defend Sheena, praising her strength and emotional intelligence. Many argue that her ability to maintain composure in emotionally charged situations is a sign of resilience, not detachment. This reframing has significantly altered how her storyline is discussed within the fandom. At the same time, questions about compatibility remain. Love can bridge many gaps, but viewers are openly debating whether it can overcome lifelong emotional patterns. Forrest's future with Sheena may require patience, understanding, and acceptance at levels he never anticipated. Fans are split on whether this is a challenge that will ultimately bring the couple closer or slowly wear them down. Producers appear to lean into this emotional complexity, giving scenes room to breathe rather than rushing toward artificial conclusions. This pacing allows viewers to sit with discomfort, uncertainty, and unanswered questions. It's a storytelling choice that reflects confidence in the audience's ability to engage with nuance rather than spectacle. As the season progresses, even minor interactions take on new meaning. A brief pause, a hesitant smile, or a carefully worded response can spark entire threads of online discussion. Viewers analyze these moments not out of boredom, but because the story now feels layered and emotionally real. There is also growing curiosity about Sheena's parents themselves. While their initial appearance was shocking, fans are now wondering whether future episodes will reveal more about their perspectives, values, and motivations. Are they protective, skeptical, emotionally reserved due to their own pasts? The lack of clear answers keeps audiences guessing. Forrest's evolving mindset continues to anchor the storyline. He appears more reflective, less idealistic, yet still deeply invested. This balance has earned him admiration, as viewers recognize the difficulty of loving someone while confronting realities that complicate the dream of a perfect future. Ultimately, the introduction of Sheena's parents has elevated the storyline beyond typical reality TV drama. It has turned it into a meditation on love, family, and emotional inheritance. It asks viewers to consider how much of who we are comes from where we come from, and how that shapes the relationships we choose. As fans look ahead, there is a shared sense of anticipation mixed with concern. No matter the outcome, one thing is certain: this moment changed everything. And as Before the 90 Days continues, audiences will be watching closely, not just for answers, but for honesty, growth, and emotional truth.